Hello and welcome back to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to our amazing community. Can I just tell you, the people that listen to this podcast are the most amazing people anywhere. I absolutely love meeting you guys in person. I cannot wait. This week is our conference we have been waiting for months, and I cannot wait to connect with all of you, give you a big old hug, and share some ideas, some inspiration, go through some of the challenges and be support for each other. So I'm super excited. If you don't have a ticket, you probably have about another 24 hours to grab one, but you don't want to be left out of this conference. It is going to be amazing for sure. Maybe not the biggest conference in the country, but definitely one where people are going to connect and make a difference in what's going on in their centers. So let's talk about this for a moment. If you are a child care provider, you know one of the toughest challenges you face is staying in ratio when staff call out unexpectedly. And in yesterday's episode, we talked about 10 creative solutions to this issue. But today, we're going to get practical. We're going to give you a 3-step action plan that you can place right now into your program to start taking control of your scheduling and minimizing the impact of callouts, because I know it's driving you nuts. These are actionable steps that you can begin today, even if you're in the middle of a busy day. So let's dive in. You want to assess your current scheduling system. Before you can make any changes, it's so critical to assess where you stand right now. Think about it. If you don't know where your system is falling short, it will be hard to know what solutions are going to work best for you. This first step is to understand your current gaps and the strengths of your existing scheduling system. So here's how you do it effectively. You want to start by mapping out the hours of operation for your center. And when you do, you have the highest number of children coming in. You want to make note of that. Is it during early morning drop-offs or mid-afternoon pickups? Are there times during the day when you have less coverage or a higher likelihood of staff needing to leave unexpectedly? For most of us, that becomes an emergency that happens during lunch break. Or if you're like my center, it typically happens around 3:45 as your morning shift folks start to leave and you don't have any other folks coming in. So review your staffing for those hours. Are there enough staff scheduled? Is it spread thin during the busiest parts of your day? Because if it is, it doesn't look great to your families. And you want to make sure that you're able to give your parents that customer attention, that customer excellence they deserve. And that is the thing that helps them stay at your program. You want to identify staffing gaps. Look for any gaps in your staffing. Are there times that are dangerously close to falling below ratio, even without a call out? Perhaps you don't have enough floaters or backup staff, which leads to stress on your regular team. And this is the time to identify those gaps and pinpoint your needs. You also want to review your backup resources that you have. So take a good look whether or not you have a pool of on-call staff or floaters. Do you really have a list of reliable substitutes that you can call for emergency coverage? And if you don't have a roster like this, it's the time to start building one. And if you do, how reliable is that backup staff? Do you often call a float and they say, "Oh, I'm not available today"? Because I know that sometimes happens to me. Are they available when you need them? And do they meet your standards of care? Because we're not just looking for bodies. We are looking for folks who can step into those spots and be as good as your A players when they're there every day. Evaluate your scheduling tools too. You want to make sure that you're evaluating your current scheduling tools Are you using a spreadsheet? Is it a manual calendar or some type of fancy software tool? How easy is it to adjust schedules on the fly? And if you're not already using a schedule software that allows that flexibility or tracking availability in real time, or maybe even offering self-service options for swaps where your staff can reach out to each other. If you're not doing that, you might want to think about upgrading to something that saves you time and keeps things running smoothly. And a lot of us have these functions on the apps that we use, but we haven't really used them. So if you're one of those people like me, I'll admit, I do not use my ProCare scheduling system the way that I should, and I'm going to move forward doing that because I also have headaches from callouts. And, we know it's week after week. We have to set ourselves up for success. So I do have a few floats and I do have a few subs, and they're pretty regular. So I am lucky there. But it would be really nice to have the staff be able to have the flexibility of swapping shifts with each other in some type of system where each of them confirm that they've swapped the shift so that the manager also knows. So we're going to look into that on our parent app. Tips for this step is you want to take 30 minutes each week and review that schedule, because there aren't going to be certain times of the year where it changes a little bit, especially as we're heading into summer. Analyze the past week's coverage, especially any times where you found that there was a gap, and make notes on what worked and what didn't. And you can also ask your team for their feedback during your regular check-ins. Like, I noticed that, 2 or 3 days in a row, you had a few kids come in a little bit earlier than their scheduled time. Can we talk with the parent and either say, do you need to adjust your times and make that accommodation? Or was that, just this week because Johnny's dad's schedule changed for the week? So not only just getting that feedback from your team, but also, regularly communicating with your parents. Now, once you've assessed your system, it's time to bring your team in to the process. Effective communication is the backbone of any successful childcare center. You know it and I know it. By gaining that buy-in from your staff, you're going to create a stronger, more adaptable workforce that's ready to step in when you need it. And here's how you can do that with this important conversation with your team, right? Gather your team for a quick meeting. Don't make it feel like an emergency. This should be a collaborative conversation. The goal is to create a supportive environment where everyone feels like they're part of that solution. And let them know that you're exploring ways to handle callouts more effectively. Ask them for that feedback. And the teachers that come in day after day are really, really, really going to appreciate you throwing them a lifeline. Even if you can't figure out how to solve every single gap, every single problem, I think they're really going to appreciate that you acknowledge that it is an issue and that you see that they are drowning and that you are trying to help. So be transparent about the problem. Let your staff know that callouts are a challenge and that you're working to find that sustainable solution. And it's important to be honest and transparent about the issue. You could even say something like this, like, hey guys, we've been running into challenges with callouts lately, and I'm working on finding solutions that will help us stay in ratio without overwhelming everyone. So let's talk about how we can make this work together. And maybe sometimes that might include a full-time person agreeing to step down from full-time and moving to part-time. Or maybe a part-time person who's been waiting to grab more hours would like to pick up those hours. So present a few solutions that you've considered based on your assessment. For example, we're looking to have a few more floaters on hand or rotating shifts so no one gets burned out. Or would it be helpful if we implemented a standby system where some of you are available for emergency shifts? Even ask them how do they feel about cross-training or swapping shifts with colleagues to add some flexibility. Engage their feedback. When you ask for feedback from your team, ask them, do they have any concerns about the proposed solutions? Are there things that they'd like to see done differently? Encourage an open dialogue. You'll find that if your team feels like they have a voice in the process, they are definitely more likely to embrace any changes. And you want to set expectations for future communication. So lastly, set clear expectations for how communication will flow going forward. Let your team know how you will communicate shift changes, how you'll communicate staff callouts, and any new protocols. And make sure they understand the importance of staying in ratio and that it is a team effort. Consider scheduling a monthly check-in to evaluate how new systems are working and address any ongoing concerns. You're probably not going to solve all the solutions the very first shot out the gate, but keep the conversation positive and solution focused. Your staff will appreciate being part of the solution. Implement one solution immediately and why this step matters. Because let's talk about it. Right now, you have assessed your system and you've communicated with your team. It's time for action. You can't afford to wait weeks or months to make a change. So implement one solution immediately. This will give you the momentum that you need to start seeing results right away. So how do you choose? Well, the key here is to not overwhelm yourself by trying to implement everything at once. Pick one solution from the options that we discussed earlier and start small. Here are some examples. If you're going with on-call floats, start by reaching out to a few local staff members, asking them if they'd be willing to be on call for emergency shifts. If you're considering staggered shifts, you can experiment by rotating staff for a week and see if that helps smooth out any busy times. Or maybe you're ready to try AI-powered scheduling apps. That's where I am. Sign up for either a trial scheduling app if you don't have one on your parent portal now, but I do feel like most of them do. But implement it for a few weeks to evaluate how it impacts your efficiency. Whatever it is, you got to take action immediately so you can stop going bonkers every time the phone rings. Once you've selected your solution, take action immediately. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Do it now. For example, if you're going to implement that staggered shift, reach out to the staff, let them know what you need them to do. And if you're lucky enough like me, I have multiple locations, you might be able to pull people from other locations who are extra. If you're starting with on-call lists, text or email the floaters to confirm their availability. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll begin to see the benefits. Because I don't want you to be stressed out. We have enough juggling balls. Staff should not be one of them. Once you've put your solution into place, keep track of how it's working. Is it helping to reduce staff burnout? Are you staying in ratio more consistently? Checking in with your team, asking for feedback after a week or two. Of course, you can always adjust the solution if needed, but don't worry. Know if it's working you won't know if it's working until you try it. So try it. Some tips that you might want to think about is 1, be flexible. Don't be afraid to tweak a solution based in real-time feedback. Keep the momentum going by sharing the successes with your team. Even small wins, they matter, right? Even if it's only one day that you struggle, but the other 4, you had something in place. So that's it. 3 actionable steps that you can take today to start addressing your callouts and scheduling challenges at your childcare center. By assessing your system, communicating with your team, and implementing solutions immediately, you'll be on your way to creating a more efficient, less stressful scheduling process. And remember, these steps don't require weeks of planning. They're things you can do right now. Take one step at a time. The positive changes will follow. We know every childcare director is facing these issues, but with the right approach, you can start managing them effectively. We love to hear from you what works. Reach out to us and share your experiences. Be sure to subscribe to the Childcare Directors Chair podcast. Leave us a review or share this episode with a fellow director who can use a little support. Until the next time, keep up the great work. We'll see you in the next episode.